Guys, I need a break from social media. And also I've dropped my phone like 3 times, but I really don't want to pay for a new screen. So I thought, fuck it. Folding phones are trending right now, so it seems like as good a time as ever to upload. I'm gonna rid myself of all convenience and social media, and I'm gonna survive an entire week with this. A Motorola Razr V3 XX. Now before you say anything, yes, you're correct in stating that this phone, although it looks very real, is not actually in my hands right now. And that's because I lost it. I lost the phone pretty much right after I finished the challenge. I would have used the original Motorola Razr, however, it didn't have 3G in it, and while I would have liked to have used it, I also would like to have service. Oh boy. Ow. It's finally arrived. Here it is. Shit, right off the bat. The phone is supposed to be there. It's not. Ugh, they're like melted to each other. This is it. Ugh, look at number 4. It's got like poo-poo on it. It's got fucking brown shit on it. Let's scratch it off. Oh, it doesn't scratch off. Oh god, the battery's about to die. One of the first things I noticed right off the bat as soon as I started using the phone was that the charger didn't work. It didn't charge my phone. No matter what power brick I put it on, it wouldn't work. So the only way I could actually get it to work was by plugging it into my laptop, which is already super inconvenient in itself, if not for the fact that my laptop doesn't have any USB ports. It's all Type-C. Thank you, Apple, you Anyway, once I sorted all that out and got it working, the phone was actually surprisingly ahead of its time. It was not what I was expecting. You have a regular camera and a selfie camera. If you were feeling really wild, you could flip the phone down. I would be demonstrating it now if I actually had it. You flip the phone down and you could use the back camera as a selfie camera because there's a little screen, a little LCD screen that would come up and you could see yourself. That's right. The Motorola Razr had 2 screens before 2 screens were cool. And that's pretty cool. However, the internet didn't work on it, like at all. And also all of Motorola services were just completely, they're gone. Motorola shut down the servers probably many years ago, but you couldn't update anything, you couldn't access any of the features that Motorola provided on the phone back in 2006. One of these features included accessing their games marketplace to download extra games on your phone. While I would have liked to have seen what other games they had to offer, it wasn't actually that bad because they did have both 3D bowling and Tetris on the phone, which are actually both pretty good games. The previous Russian owner of this phone left some high scores on Tetris and 3D bowling, so that was pretty cool. Don't mean to toot my own horn, but kind of beat both the high scores in probably the first 2 hours of having the phone. So yeah, there were actually a lot of benefits and positive experiences from using this phone, but I'm gonna focus on the negatives first because they were kind of the biggest ones I was dealing with while using it. Firstly, the FOMO. Fear of missing out. It hit me pretty hard. I wasn't expecting it would be that bad, but it really did. I found that I was pulling my phone out as a reflex like every 10 minutes just to scroll through whatever social media I wanted to use at the time, and I'd pull my phone out and go, oh, hang on, there's nothing I can fucking do on this phone, so back in the pocket it goes. Over the week I slowly broke my habit of constantly checking my phone, although in saying this, I kind of substituted a vice for a vice. I sacrificed social media and I got kind of addicted to Tetris. I'd replace, you know, the times I pull out my phone to scroll through Instagram to just pulling out my flip phone and playing Tetris. You know, it's like any vice, you know, you give up alcohol, you take up gambling. Give up gambling, you do heroin. I mean, that's just how it works. Besides the FOMO, and I didn't think I would be, I was actually reasonably surprised at how much we take for granted that's on a smartphone. There were so many tools that were sold separately before smartphones just combined them all into one. The Motorola Razr doesn't have a GPS, doesn't have a flashlight, you can't check your emails, and there's not really any way you can take photos that you can be like, yeah, it looks looks like more than 3 pixels. Yeah, sure. Gone are the days of having a flashlight keychain, having a Palm Pilot to check your emails and play Bejeweled on, and having a massive GPS stuck on your windshield that you have to update every 2 weeks because for some reason it keeps telling you to turn left when you're on a bridge. Out of all those things, the GPS was probably the thing I struggled with the most. I have no sense of direction as it is, so not having the ability to look up where I was wanting to go made getting around very difficult. Another big thing was Google. Oh my God, if I had $1 for every single time that I had a question that popped into my head just randomly, and my thirst for knowledge could not be quenched because I couldn't Google the question. And so it would just sit there all day, just brewing slowly until I forgot it. And then I get home and I'd have my computer and I go, oh, never mind. Can't Google it anyway. Lastly, listening to music. Wow, I forgot how much the radio sucks. That last one was Dance Monkey by Tones and I. Next up, we've got Dance Monkey by Tones and I. That song's got such great vibes. I was about halfway through book 3 of Game of Thrones at the time, and not being able to listen to that audiobook in my hour drives to and from work was quite frustrating. So all in all, the car experience with a Motorola Razr, less than ideal. Texting, on the other hand, was actually pretty good. It took a while to get used to the predictive text and only using numbers 1 to 9 to text, or 1 to 9 to 0. However, following a text conversation, oh my God, it's a whole nother story. There's no chat feed. There's none. So it makes it so much harder to follow what the last person has said and what you've said. There is an inbox and an outbox that you can check, but even that is really confusing. It's fucking really annoying. People seem to remember these old phones as having godlike batteries, but that wasn't really the case with my phone. Personally, I got around 2 days out of mine without having to charge it, and this was with reasonable use per day, maybe like 2-3 hours. This also could be due to having possibly an old battery because it's not a brand new phone, it's refurbished. But even then, I still don't think it would have lasted, over a week, maybe with the use that I was getting out of it. But enough of the negatives, some of the benefits now. The biggest benefit was knowing that when your phone went off, it's actually for you, directly for you. It wasn't letting you know that your friend had tagged you in this thing or that this person hadn't posted in a while and you need to check out their fucking stories. It was just purely, hey, someone shot you a text message. Hey, someone's calling you. That's it. I had no idea how much I hated those notifications until this. Not having social media and only really having texting and calling and Tetris available to you at all times. I actually found that I was going to bed a lot earlier. I wasn't sitting up watching Facebook videos until I went to sleep or watching Netflix or anything like that. And the same applied for when I woke up. I would actually just get up. Okay, maybe I played a little bit of Tetris, but lastly, I remember that I actually had hobbies before the internet. I used to draw all the time before I had such a large distraction just weighing on my life all the time. I started drawing constantly and on everything. Started drawing on my hand, on my boots. Hell, sometimes I even started drawing on paper too. I mean, just to, shake things up a bit. It's a skill I completely forgot I had and actually enjoyed. All in all, I'd say this experience was well worth it. It definitely made me realize what we take for granted every day with what's just sitting in our pockets. And it made me realize what we lose when we give ourselves complete access to everything all the time. You just lose all ability to live without having constant stimulation. There were times where I would be walking from my car to my house and I'd be checking my phone because, the 10-meter walk was too boring for me. And I'd like to thank you all for watching and making it this far in the video. I'll see you next time, where I restore an axe. All right, is that what we're doing? This actually looks pretty good. This is like what Vanessa Hudgens' nudes were taken on.